Lyath is one of the newest heroes in Super Slam, and his hero ability reads: the base power and defense of cards you control are halved, rounded up, and instant, 2 resources and tap him. The crowd boos you, defending action cards you control get +1 defense this turn, and whenever the crowd boos you, create a might token. So our ability is nerfing ourselves and lets us somewhat undo the nerf on defense, but we have to point out here that Lyath is actually the first 5 intellect hero in Flesh and Blood. And since we've never had this before, let's talk about the actual benefits that we gain from this during a match, which number 1 is deck velocity. We're going to be seeing 25% more cards every single turn than a hero with 4 intellect, which means 2 more consistency. We're going to be seeing specific cards more often, letting us achieve our game plans more reliably. The percentage increase ranges from about 5% to 10% per hand, which is a considerable boost. And 3, more cards equals more resources. We're going to be able to cast bigger cards and more of them. So this has been quite the puzzle to deck build. Our cards are halved, but we get an extra one every turn. Let's get into how I've built the deck to abuse this the most. Welcome to Cooking with Tog. Before we get into the video, we have to give an extra special shout out to the sponsors of this video, LSS themselves, the absolute legends. This means you can expect more fun deck techs more often thanks to their support, but let's get straight into it. So on paper, this hero should actually be unplayable. If every single attack and block gets chopped in half, getting a single extra card would not make up for that. So it is important that we recognize these 2 key concepts about playing this hero so that we don't cook ourselves. 1, effects on the cards do not get halved. This means we're heavily inclined to go a buff focused strategy to stay on rate. And 2, defensively we're actually pretty good thanks to the combo of our second hero ability, nullifying our halving effect on defense, plus Rampart of the Ram's Head. These 2 concepts will help us build the foundation of a game plan by playing to stack multiple buffs into a single turn while being able to stay defensively responsible during the setups. So the game plan is pretty simple: setup and payoff strategy. During the setup, we're looking to start stacking any suspense auras we see while keeping our life total high and focusing on value. When our suspense auras are about to pop, that's when we're in payoff mode, where we're happy to trade some damage to hold key attacks for the matchup, to blast our opponent for literally 20 plus damage as early as turn 3 and take over the game from there. So a simple but effective game plan. So let's get into the deck list on how we're going to achieve this. So after playing easily 60 plus games this week on this hero, I found this to be the most consistent list I could find. Our reds are expensive, high impact choices to allow us to run more blue block 3s to make sure we're always able to use our defensive ability when needed. For the reds, we have Active Glory, Edge of their Seats, Leave Them Hanging, and Cruel Ambition as our stackable buffs. Suspense auras have been amazing since if we play them on our own turn, then we draw up another in the next hand. We can play it as an instant, and now we have a mini nuke ready in 2 turns for us. They are easily the core of the deck. For the rest of our reds, we have Sadistic Scowl and Villainous Pose as our pre-buffs to extend our damage cap even further on our pop-off turns. Next, I run 6 of the dwarves in main. Cut a long story short and short shrift. The disruption attached to these guys are some of the reasons we're so strong into aggressive decks, while their first abilities actually help to negate our halving effect, making them perfect in this deck. Then we have our blue base. We want to stay around the 33 to 30 blue ratio in order to make sure we always have 2 to 3 blues in hand. This will allow us to always cast our expensive spells while still being able to activate either our defensive ability plus Rampart combo. And having the 3rd blue is always nice to have the option of either Titan's Fists, blocking 3, or casting another big suspense aura in that same turn. Blue block 3s are good. So our blue base does a great job at making sure we have disruption for aggro matchups with Boulder Drop, Concuss, Tear Asunder, and Thump. Stacking 20 damage on any of these is sure to solo win any game into an aggressive deck. Then we also have some setups in our blue base as well, with Edge of their Seats, Embolden, Escalate Violence, and Imposing Visage for the 2 steps ahead. These setup blues help to make sure we're always able to set up when we're given the room to. Key factor in our blues I have to point out as well is our 9 Dominate blues with Buckle, Tear Asunder, and Thump. Dominating an attack for 20 plus damage is an easy way to destroy any opponent trying to block us out. out. Always look to stack your damage on these as your payoff against them. And so that's the 54 card main board. I look to bring in 2 play sets of cards from my side, depending on who I'm facing. What I've set up is I choose between a more disruptive build or a more anti-fatigue build. So Revolting and Fix the Match come in against the decks that are trying to fatigue us. Revolting has extra pre-buffs because we're going to have the space to cast it, while Fix the Match is probably the best card in the deck if the opponent does want to block. Fix to Search Overturn means our opponent will be giving us 1 to 2 mites per card block, making it extremely easy to just keep on chaining payoff turn after payoff turn after payoff turn. This card will solo win you any match against a deck trying to fatigue us. Then Truth or Trickery and Wrecking Ball come in against the aggressive decks. This gives us an insane amount of disruption to simply never let our opponent get a 5-card handoff on us, majorly slowing them down, all while we just continue to set up our game plan. Lastly, I have a couple tech choices in Sit and Midas Touch. The Sit is a 4-block against brute decks who seem to be very strong this meta, and Midas Touch to help our problem with allies since I don't want to swing 25 damage into a Chum or a Centauri Sellsword. We also have access to AB2 in the list. The second one's only for Kano, mostly only bringing in the No Rune Boots whenever I need the 1 AB. Now let's quickly cover the equipment in the main board. Skullcap's effect means that it's a 2-block for us, which is the most we can find for headpieces. We love that. Attention Grabbers are a 3-block, while also helping to accelerate our suspense auras for a turn. Probably one of our best equipment pieces. Blade Beckoner Boots is another 2-block piece. I tried all the other boots, but it's hard to pass up on just a simple +2 life. Tunic to enable efficient casts of Act of Glory, Revolting Gesture, Escalate Violence, and Thump. Rampart of the Ram's Head to allow us to use the 1 floating on defense to get an additional block value. And Titan's Fist will always be a 3-power attack thanks to the effect and our blue base. So I'm gonna do a couple test hands here, just show off like how the deck's meant to flow the first couple turns. Let's go, it's turn 0, we're going first, so an ideal start for us already. Always the first thing I'm looking at on turn 0 is just how many suspense auras I got, or auras in general. We're pretty lucky here, we got 2, so I'm just going to be casting both of these, if anything, and I'm going to be setting up this Terra Sunder into the arsenal. Terra Sunder is very easy to fit into your turns when you get an extra pitch card. Makes sense, doesn't it? So already off to an insane start, really, no matter what our opponent is. If they're on fatigue, the dominate matters. If they're on aggro, then this discard effect is going to matter a lot as well. +8 on the board already, and that's not including if we draw more suspense auras, which we did. So, okay, I'm high rolling a little bit here, but to show off exactly what we would want to do with this hand, I think we're just dumping everything. I don't care what they're sending at me here. Maybe if it's like a CNC, I'd like be a little bit cautious, but honestly, I'm just going to set up for literally the fucking nuke of the century here by just pitching everything. I don't care how much damage I take because we're probably gonna get that back and take over the game. So on our turn, everything's gonna tick, boom, boom, boom. Don't wanna draw that. Boom, 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 boom. Pass it over to them. And the funny thing here is even if we drew another suspense aura, we could also fit it in because of the attention grabbers. So for example, if we wanted to, if this was red per se, like we could go slam this down, block here, get 3 value out of our arms, and then trigger it on the edge. All of a sudden we just got infinite values to send in our attack nuke next turn. But I probably wouldn't do it with this guy. So instead, this would be one of those defensive hands. So all I'm looking at first is what am I attacking with? And it's probably going to be this hammer. I'm going to need some resources for Terra Sunder, so 2 blues are going to be taken out of my hand. It is kind of specific on which blues you want to be pitching. So these thumps are really good late game, so dominate against the fatigue decks, really good. It's also fine into the aggro decks, although I'd rather play something else. This is actually not an action card if we were to be blocking with a card, so our Lyath effect won't actually buff the edge, so if anything we're pitching this to Lyath itself if we are going to block, which means we're going to be blocking with the overturn out of all of them, but I like to try and keep the overturn in my deck. So yeah, there's a lot of like small things you have to consider. So here I'd probably like pitch this to Lyath, we get to make a might token. That's not a might token, that's a might token. Make a might token, we still have 1 floating, so we can still be able to block with the shield and then also get to block with 1 card here. So still get 4 block, we get a extra might token there, and we still have enough to hammer and cast this Terra Sunder with the 2 blues, holding the Cruel Ambition potentially, or just using it, who knows. But yeah, and then you just let this play out. All of these trigger. And yeah, so Tunic would be on 3, not that that matters right now. We just go Terra Sunder, boom, into a big ass hammer, boom, and then this is normally how you want to set up your turns. Give or take -1 of these like auras here. So we can do some math real quick. So we can look at 3 plus 5, that's 8, plus 5, oh shit, 13, plus 9, that's 6, my bro. That's 19. Talking 20 with the might, 21 with Terra Sunder. We're talking 24 off of our dominated Titan's Fist. 24 damage, over half of our opponent's life total. They can only block 3 plus their equipment, or possibly they have more with their defense reaction in the arsenal, but they're going to have to discard 2 cards because of the Terra Sunder as well. It's just a massive tempo swing. Like, it doesn't matter how much damage we took. We could have taken 20, and this is probably going to equalize the game, on top of give us the tempo for the rest of this game, right? So yeah, that's just to show kind of what we're looking for. Let's see what the next hand will look like. Just put all of these away, that goes there. This is deleted. And this is why I like setting up the Cruel Ambition on this off turn, by the way, because if we do draw into some buffs, which we did, we drew into a lot of buffs actually. So we drew into some buffs. You'd actually rather stack this 3 on top of like another thing. On top of that, it also allows us to set up cards like Escalate Violence. So being able to go Cruel Ambition, Tunic, Escalate Violence is a really nice combo. We can just assume that we have full tempo here and we get to do whatever we want because yeah, we just Terra Sundered them for like 24. So we want to put on as much pressure as we can while also setting up as much as we can. So obviously we're going to be casting this Cruel Ambition. Start us off with 3 mites. Probably going to be pitching this to Lyath to go to 4 might. And then using the 1 floating, we get to go Gesture, putting us to 5 mites and buffing our next dude. And then I would probably just be swinging in with this Violence. I like pitching the 2 steps back into my deck because of Imposing Visage, and I've only got 1 of these. And Escalate Violence is just going to be, in general, a good card in our arsenal because it's both pressure and setup. It's going to be really good with the Tunic. It's just like everything you want. It's literally levels of enlightenment, levels of value. I guess a little bit less because it's only 5 because we're half, blah, 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 blah. But now, yeah, all of a sudden, this guy's coming in. We get to make 3 more mites in the background. And you can just start to see how we just start to snowball, right? So this is going to be 2 plus the 3. So this is coming in for 5 right now. And we just made 8 mites in the background. We're ready to go again with another one here. We'll see what we draw next turn. Opponent probably has to, like, if they don't block this, then it's going to be like an equalized game. Equalized game, except now we have 8 mites and all of a sudden we're just super far ahead, right? Like, and again, it doesn't matter if they're aggro or the other version, aggro or fatigue. And then I guess I do have my fatigue package set up in here. And then, yeah, just look at how perfect these hands are. So like, even if we didn't draw all of these really perfect reds, if these were all blues, aka bricks, our blue quality is just so nice because of Terra Sunder and being able to just fit it on a hammer whenever. And so like, yeah, just kind of perfect, I swear. But yeah, so here, whenever we have buffs, I'm just trying to look to stack as many more buffs as we can. So I'm looking to cast both of these. It's going to be really efficient off of the single blue. And then we have a Fix the Match. Whenever this card is in your deck, that means you should be doing everything in your power to cast it. We do have a little bit of an awkward card here. We are just going to have to either block 2 or just make a might token. Sometimes it is just worth to make the extra might token for special breakpoints or whatever, but it doesn't matter too much here on the fix. Just going to be popping off with 8 mites here. We're going to go +3, make some more mites in the back, bang. +4, we get booed again. So that's another mite for us there, bang, and then Fix the Match, all of a sudden coming in for a billion. 8 +3, so it's 11, +4, we're talking 15, we're talking 17, and for every card that our opponent blocks with, we're going to get additional mites because we will go and search that overturn that we just put to the bottom. Bang, bang. Ooh, let me put that back there. And so all of a sudden, if our opponent does win the clash, like their KO or whatever, then we start getting 2 mites per clash, because fixed match will win one, so we get 1 mite, and then if we lost it, we actually win instead, and the crowd boos us because of this. Booing us gets us a 2nd mite. So really, we want to lose this clash. Anything over 5 power. So anything over 5 power is exactly what I want to say. Just get like infinite more mites. Just say we do just get like +4 mites, whether that's them winning the clash or defending with 4 cards, bang. And like now we have a blue on top. I guess I should shuffle this, shouldn't I? We have a guaranteed blue on top. All of those are there. We still have Tunic. Like, we've already presented lethal to our opponent. We've already presented lethal, and we're just still playing, and it's just still cooking. Look at how good this deck is, bro. Oh, I can't. Bro, did I just build the... I just built the fucking B2 bomber of fucking Lyath decks, I swear, bro. I swear. Because we're just going to have a +6. If they try to swing, we can do this and put another +6 on this field right here to make this go down to 1 suspense counter. So it's going to tick next turn. On top of this, so say we got all of that off, bang, 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 +12. And then we're just going to go this on our turn, after we get our Tunic counter, of course. This on our turn, intim them, that's +17 for our thing. We're going to activate Lyath. That's going to make a mite token in the background and have 1 floating for this guy that's been sitting pretty here. Bang, all of a sudden we get 4 mite tokens in the back, and we're swinging for a billion again. What are we talking? 12, 17, we're talking 19 damage once again with more ready to go. Yeah, I don't know. I think this deck's pretty good. But yeah, that's just a couple test hands. I wanted to show like just goldfishing, what the deck looks like, how the hands flow, and just like how nice I think the build is. Obviously I'm biased, but you can go ahead and take the link down in the description. But yeah, go check it out for yourselves. Once again, thank you very much to LSS for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching to the end. But I'm out. Peace.